Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Invasion stream, week 45, day 5. So, of course, the main thing that ended up happening today is we ended up getting ourselves a new mythic and a new faction, which also ended up increasing some stars. Golvania ended up going to 11 stars. Wait, why don't we have 11 star? But that ended up going up from the most recent, oh not, wait, why am I looking at that? It went up to 13 stars. They both went up to 13. I'm like looking at the little thing at the bottom. But yeah, Golvania went up to 13 stars and Divinian Fields went up to 13 stars. Golvania because of the mythic that just came out, and Divinian Fields because of the what's it called? The 4 new troops from the faction. I still don't have the third one just because I still don't have the pet. It's actually kind of funny. We're missing like literally 1 copy of it. But of course, once we get the mythic pet from doing the faction itself, that would end up giving it to us. But currently, I did not have it, so we only have 12 stars out of it. But that ended up getting added with the Wild Playing Score, or the Wild Court. So we've been making some progress on this. We did all of our other daily delve things, got the horde to 200, and now we're just having excess shards. We're actually like burned out on treasure, as well as our gold stack, as you can see, how far that went down. But aside from that, we're mainly just progressing through the delve and trying to get to the point where we can do pure faction. Since it is invasions, let me go and grab our invasion orb. I do not believe we have to do any more battles though. But what I do need is this orb. Let's go grab that, and that'll give us the little portrait thing, bunch of the other little orbs. Hopefully we get something good from the 4 smalls and the major that we have there. And so far, not so much. Maybe a good, okay, purple. Hopefully these two will be like a blue-purple or blue-blue. Purple-orange, close. If that was a blue, that would have been great. Even just a purple, but not too good. All we really got was 2 purples out of that, essentially, which doesn't get us that far. Obviously, we're not making a leaderboard. I never try for raids or invasion leaderboard. I believe some people in my guild did this time around. 2 of them seem to, almost 3. But obviously, I did not, as it's generally not worth going for. It looks like 3 of them are attempting for it, which helps out because we still need more people. So if anyone's still interested in joining the guild, we've still been trying to fill that 8. We haven't been able to get someone for about a week now. I don't think some people in the guild have been trying that hard, nor have I really been mentioning it much. But if you can do 1 million plus gold and can do decent at late game raids, invasions, guild war, all that, we do have 8 spots left. We were able to rebuild the entire guild pretty much from scratch, and it's been doing good so far. We're still getting all the tasks done, or about as many legendary tasks as we used to for the most part. Around several dozen per week, as well as completing all the events. The only thing that we're slightly lacking in lately is Guild War, but that's mainly because we don't have 30 people, so we won't really know how we're doing if we have a full 30 people, which we should by next Guild War. But anyways, go continue on the event. So of course, faction events, main thing that we are currently chipping at. The order for this faction is pretty straightforward as far as what we do. You scout this room, this tier 4, this tier 4, and then that tier 5, and that tells you what order you need to do. And based on that, we go there. That's the game plan. Those are the only 3 we ever have to scout. We've mainly been running it with truffles because why not? Seems to work, and yeah, just been using it. So we've been rolling down the truffle route, and it's been going pretty good. Get the quick leprechaun so we can use the Cedric gold, as well as this for quick mana. If we happen to get Cedric gold, this delve does have 3 treasure rooms, 3 guaranteed treasure rooms, so the chance of getting Cedric is decently high. But hello, William. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Tom. Hello, Hellmarch, and hello, Michael. Welcome, everyone. Hope all of you have been doing well. And hopefully everyone's been getting decent luck with the most recent mythic. Of course, we did get a new mythic this earlier today. Of course, you can get pretty unlucky with it, but hopefully people have been doing okay at the luck on it. Well, some people on the forum got absurdly good luck, while some other people also opened like absurd amount of resources and didn't get it. So it goes both ways. I still wish they would have added diamonds to keys. Would have been a great way to obfuscate the bad luck slightly. While it'd still be luck-based, they'd be common enough that you don't feel like you're getting nothing when you open a bunch of keys that you don't get, or where you get a bunch of stuff that you don't need. Because at least then you'd get some crafting material to craft whatever you want. I think their biggest concern with that was adding too many diamonds to the game. But now that diamonds have kind of been balanced out a bit, they could probably add a little bit now to keys. But who knows if we'll ever get around to it. Like one of those resources like gems where they're almost very, very rarely ever at a higher rate of it. They might give stuff that saves gems, but very rarely do they give like the equivalent. And diamonds, while not exactly gems, is almost treated like them. Is this a good delve to farm at 20? It is currently the 3rd best delve in the game. The top 4 right now, and the rest are pretty much just way below. But the top 4 right now are City of Thieves is the absolute best. 2nd best is Silver Necropolis. 3rd is this delve. And then 4th is Warrens. That's the current order for delves being good. So if you have City of Thieves at level 20, that is the most optimal that you could possibly be doing. Yeah, this is decently high up there. 3 guaranteed treasure rooms definitely is not that bad at all. And then we go over here. It also has a really simple layout too. You don't have to scout that much and it tells you what the entire guild is. Or the delve, I mean. What else do we need here? Grab the browns there. Get our explosion for everything. Explosions. Also, tomorrow, morning stream as well as nightly stream, we should have spoilers for next patch. I should probably go check that right now and see if we actually have spoilers. I don't believe so, because right now in Australia is like the middle of night. So unless they had it to automatic rollout, it probably isn't up already. However, there's a good chance between right now and tomorrow we are getting spoilers for next patch, and it's not there now. So hopefully tomorrow we will get spoilers for next patch. And yeah, it's gonna be the only spoilers we get prior to the previous stream. It's gonna spoil everything, which is this Monday. I'll be going over on Tuesday because on Monday it's happening after our stream, not before. But yeah, within the next several days we'll know pretty much everything about it. Or you guys will know everything about it. I already know everything about it. But publicly it'll be known what everything is about it. Will the next patch add more achievements? Every patch has more achievements. But yeah, 2 or 3 are coming in. What they are, I have no clue. But they're related to new mechanics, obviously. PlayStation doesn't have flash offers. I think that might have to do with something on the console end that kind of prevents them, either monetization wise. But hopefully you guys get flash offers soon. I know for a while Switch didn't have it. I'm not sure if they have it now. Also, some of the purchases were disabled on Switch that would normally be keepable on PC Mobile. Like for example, the $5 Daily Diamonds was completely disabled on Switch. Maybe because the Nintendo doesn't allow daily microtransactions or something? Or, you know, something that's available and changing every single day. They might have some kind of limit where it has to be every few days or a week or something. Let's see. For that. And that might be PlayStation's problem too. Because don't they not have the $5 thing? Or if they do, they have it for like gems instead of actual money. Because there might be a policy on PlayStation where you can't constantly keep changing the microtransaction. Or it has to be at least out on like a weekly basis, if not longer. Because flash offers are normally 1 to 2 days. And that daily thing is every single day. Which Switch has disabled, and I believe PS4 had it disabled at one point if it still isn't. Or if they didn't have it disabled, they had it for gems instead of money. And a truffle kill. And he's dead. Oh, well, we didn't all the extra turn there, though. Unfortunate. Hello, Corn. Welcome. Get to level 2,500. That's not happening anytime soon or ever. That takes forever and a half to get to that level. You going for Pure Faction 500? Yes, of course. Not today, but we're working towards it this weekend. We'll likely have it by sometime on Sunday. Possibly have it tomorrow, depending on how much we grind it tomorrow. But I'm probably just going to split it up so we get it all the way done on Sunday. It depends how many rooms we start skipping. If we start skipping tomorrow, then we'll definitely have it by tomorrow. But, or a pretty good chance. But if we don't, then we might not. But I think I'm going to start skipping tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll be able to get most of it done if I do. Means we'd start skipping around 200 or so. This is about when I normally start skipping, so that's fine. A little bit earlier than that wouldn't be too bad either. Does mean we might need to buy slightly more packs though if we start skipping that early. Not too big a deal because we might need the extra stats anyways. So this is going to burn through our gem stack, which is already burned through, but oh well. Luckily we won't have anything to burn on it again anytime soon because I'm probably not spending it on next hero class. Hey, pet, wrong one though. I needed the horse. I already have that one maxed. I believe I already have that one maxed. Should probably go do it just in case. We're either one copy short or it's maxed. Pretty sure I got the final copy of Billy Goat already. Hello, Clarence. Welcome. Can I say Bill Warhammer and Global? Why? So speaking of that, we'll probably give out more Renown tomorrow as well. Probably tomorrow night stream. I'm meaning to do that. I think I forgot to do it this Wednesday though. I'm meaning to start doing that every Wednesday and Saturday that we stream. Giving out all of our honor. And he's dead. Oh, never mind. Don't even need a follow-up. Skull will do it. Perfect. Oh, another one down. Decent amount of gold there, too. Which will make up for the fact that we're missing so much gold. I grab that. Another vault key for our stack. I believe that brings us to 70 or 71. Getting a pretty decent stack now. Let me go double check the pet while I'm here. Okay, we did have all the copies. Still need to do it, though, for the food. While I'm here, I might as well go do all the dailies. But, and then probably hand out the code before I forget. I came here to check vault keys. 72, never mind, we got a few since then. Yeah, while we're here, let's go do all the dailies and then we'll hand out code. And head back to the grind of the rest of the delve. Which we still have quite a bit to go. We are not even 1/3 the way there yet. We're getting there. Like 1/4 the way through right now. And obviously if we're splitting it through 3 days, we want to get about 1/3 the way there. Though once we start skipping, it'll go a bit quicker. Even though the stats are going higher. Cutting out more than half the rooms. We're only doing 4 instead of 9. We start skipping to the end. Will substantially lower the time, of course. Yeah, once you get maxed out on honor, you don't ever need it anymore. So it takes a while to get maxed out on it. Like a long while. Especially in the current state of the game, since a lot of people don't necessarily hand it out readily. Unless you like ask for it through trading or something. Which they originally said they wanted to crack down on, but I don't think they have been at all. Just because there's no point in them cracking down on it. There we go, level 62 Oracle. Of course, we're still trying to level up Oracle. That has a ways to go still, but making progress. You only have 2 classes now under 70. Then a new class is coming out in a few weeks. Once it comes out, because I won't be leveling that one much initially. Probably to 40, and that's about it. But, Yeah, by that point, we might even have every class to 70. Because this and the War Priest are the only ones I don't. This is at 62 and War Priest is at 64. Every other one seems to be above 70. With them above 70, we can kind of leave them there for a while. Most of them are technically maxed at 70 anyways. Unless the kingdom specifically specifies for it, it would be fine. Hey, 5 gems! So that will help replenish our gigantically reduced stack. Because we're going to be reduced down to like 23,100 by the end of this weekend, most likely. We're probably going to need some amount more packs when we start skipping. Because our current amount of battles is not going to carry us all the way there for the event. We go check the event right now. Our Val Ravens will go down a lot. We get 3 per day, right? So that's another 6. It's 21. And 21 with skips is going to probably only be 5 Val Ravens at absolute most. Probably more towards 4. That's 29. 29 gets us to... what is that? 450. So we'd be 2 packs short, as I mentioned. Because that's probably about how many Val Ravens we would get once we start skipping. If we didn't skip at all, I believe we could actually get there with what we have right now. But since we're going to be skipping, we're not going to be able to, because that drastically reduces the amount of Val Ravens we'll be able to find. Anyways, before I do that, let me go do dungeons at the pet real quick before I forget. Get the dungeons down, and I'll go get the pets down. Oracle for both, of course, just for EXP. Yeah, they don't care for the most part from what I can tell. They initially did, I think mainly just to make sure people wouldn't like overly farm it. But yeah, I don't think anyone has ever been banned for farming honor. I have not seen a single instance of it ever happen. I don't even think anyone's even gotten their honor reduced for trying to farm honor. They just don't seem to do anything for it. Because these days that's like the only way to get it. Like, hey, trade honor in global. Like one of the only really easy ways to get it. Honor for honor. Better get your entire guild to coordinate your honor. 2 people. And just keep switching it off every single time those 2 get maxed. It is more less effective that way, but it still gives you still makes progress towards it. Actually, one other funny way that you could technically farm honor too would be to make yourself multiple accounts. Since this is a free-to-play game, go through the tutorial. Takes like a few minutes. Make an account. Give yourself honor with that account. Make more accounts. And just do it that way until you're maxed. That'd probably take a week making like a dozen accounts. But I'm not sure if that's actually allowed. Like, I don't think there's anything unallowed about that. Because they have really lax rules on it. And by lax rules, I mean basically none. So I think that is allowed, though. Be careful if you do, because I am not 100% sure if that is. But, I don't know. How's that any different than, like, trading honor in global? Pretty much the same premise, except you have to put in even more work than trading honor in global. Well, we'll go for this one. PD's out. Yeah, well, I need to switch to hero class, though. Class, go to Oracle. And we'll do that. Oh, you gotta get to level 20 before you can give honor. Never mind. That idea failed already. Unless you have multiple level 20 accounts. Getting a level 20 account can take like 2 or 3 hours. Aha, so they did foresee that coming. Yeah, getting a level 20 account doesn't seem as quick as it actually is. just because a lot of the beginning area is tutorial, so it moves a lot slower than normal gameplay. Getting to level 20 probably takes longer than getting from 20 to 100. We'll take that for now. Oh, let's see. That kind of makes me think now. I wonder what the lowest level account is to ever get max honor. I'm actually not sure. Because you can start receiving it at any level, I'm pretty sure. Even though you can't start using it till 20. So if it is a 20 restriction, then at level 20 you could theoretically have a max honor account. That'd be very beneficial since a max honor account would be able to get a few free gem keys and a decent amount of gold for free each week. Or at least a decent amount of gold relative to early game. Because max prestige is 3 gem keys and 20,000 gold per week. Definitely not a small amount for what is essentially a brand new player. That'd be really hard to do. You could just farm treasure hunt the entire time, keeping farming at level 20, and then getting honor from people. Probably not realistic to do. That's possible. I like games where you can make like a really low level account and permanently keep it low level and just like min-max it at a low level. That's not really possible specifically in this game though, because everything levels you other than treasure hunt. But there are quite a few games where you can end up doing that. RuneScape's probably one of the more fun games to do that with, because there's a lot of really weird builds that you can build if you deliberately min-max at a low level. I really like games that do have that option. Most games these days don't really have that option though, because they want to make your they want to move you to a place where you progress through the game normally. I don't know, RuneScape's one of those games I always end up quitting and coming back to. I've probably quit that game like 4 times and then came back to it at a later time. If I do ever start it up again, I'm probably going to stream it all. Why not? I'm not sure if I would want to though. It's such a time investment. Making another max main in the current state of the game is like upwards of 2,500 hours. It's obviously not a small amount of time to any degree whatsoever. Though most of the min-max strategies, or at least the efficient grinding strategies, hasn't really changed much to my understanding on old school RuneScape. Other than some of like the really paranoid min-max options. Like if you want to try power leveling. Some power leveling methods in RuneScape are insufferable, at least in old school RuneScape, just because they're so click intensive. But the basic methods normally aren't too bad, especially the AFK ones. Almost every skill has an AFK method. These things, I don't think a single one doesn't, really. Because every combat stat can be AFK'd in, let's see, let me try figuring out what every single AFK is in old school RuneScape right now. So, unless they changed it in the last, like, year and a half. But from what I last recall, every single skill of combat skill could be AFK'd wow, pest control. I almost forgot what it was even called. That's been in the RuneScape for like ages. Let's see if I can even remember all the skills. Gosh. Smithing can be AFK'd with darts. Which also ends up profiting some on most darts. Normally. Depends what the dart is and what the market's going for, but normally because of blowpipe, most of them end up profiting. Not sure how viable blowpipe still is the meta though. I know back about 2 years ago it's still pretty meta. Not sure if it's changed in the last 2 years. Let's see. Mining is motherload mine. It's not the best method, but it's really AFK. Wood cutting is literally anything. Everything wood cutting related is AFK. The redwoods is the most AFK. Redwoods and you normally in the wood cutting guild at the end of the batting. Fishing is literally everything as well. Normally just staying at the fishing guild or monks if you're a main account. There's a lot of builds that can't actually go get monks because it requires both offensive and defensive stats, which a lot of peers don't have. But for any mains, they just do monks and monkfish. And then everyone else goes to normally fishing guild with like dragon harpoon. Trying to think of what else. There's obviously plenty more skills. I'm not sure why I'm like forgetting so many right now. Crafting doesn't, I believe, have a proper AFK. Trying to think of what crafting's AFK is. I guess it's main only, making like orbs or something. Because most other accounts don't really have one, because that also requires both offensive and defensive stats. I actually forgot what I ended up doing for that on my main account. I know I got 99 crafting, because I was doing it to crafting guild, or on my defense pure, I mean. I completely forget what method I even used now. Trying to think, I might have just rushed Dragon High? I don't think I did, because I did most like the non-cost methods. But anyways, it'd take me forever to go through every single one off the top of my head. If I saw the visual icons of them, I'd be able to mention them a lot quicker. I might need to revisit the game eventually. I do have a decent working knowledge of it. And it wouldn't take that long to learn all the newer stuff for making a main. Because generally the game doesn't change too much. Though that's one of my biggest concerns with why I was actually left RuneScape most recently, or Old School RuneScape. They're starting to change it so much that it's starting to not feel like Old School RuneScape. Because they keep changing what the best gear in the game is, which starts to fundamentally change the game. They start doing that a lot. And at this point, they keep adding so many dungeons that almost all the equipment in the game is different than what it used to be for min-max gear. Which, oddly enough, is something that Gems of War actually maintains pretty decently. Like, while old meta may become less effective than it used to be, a lot of old meta still works. Like, for example, the Great Maul Mercy combination with Infernus and, what was the other option? And Shegra. While it's not the most optimal team in the world these days, it still functions decently. Like, you use it against the most meta teams in the game and still function. Hello, wow, welcome. Slayer is not AFK if you're doing on a pure, though. Because most of my grinding, while I have done mains, are from a pure perspective. And pures actually need to use main accounts or multiple pure accounts in order to farm Slayer properly. The proper way to farm Slayer on any account that isn't a main is to use multiple accounts to lower down everything for your Slayer task, and then have the account that you're trying to level actually get the kill. Every single pure should do that to optimize Slayer, unless you just want to do it extremely slow AFK. But if you want the min-max Slayer rates, you need around 3 to 5 accounts. Technically, mains could also benefit from that. However, it's something mostly done with pures. But any account could theoretically increase its rate by doing that. Because you can ban like 5 or 6 tasks these days. And with those bans, you can just ban the ones that are only in single combat. And then just leave the ones that are in multi-combat. And then you use multiple accounts to increase your rate of EXP. That is one mechanic I generally hate in MMOs. But RuneScape doesn't feel too egregious with it for the most part. Some MMOs are like really, really bad with it. But the use of multiple accounts to cheese various mechanics in various games always seems kind of counterintuitive. Just because you have to go out of your way just to farm a bunch of other accounts just to make one account better. Luckily, Gems of War is not like that at all. But there are a lot of games where you would gain quite substantial benefits from having multiple accounts. What's even more annoying is games that specifically charge you for having multiple accounts. That you can't just simply make it on. Which technically RuneScape does. So you can do it with in-game currency, at least, if nothing else. Hello, Ross. Welcome. Does the new faction always have 3 rewards? Yes. This faction is always 3 treasure room 100% of the time. Have I tried 1-tick fishing or mining? Fishing, yes. Mining, I believe I've done 2-tick. I don't think I've ever done 1-tick. What is 1-tick mining these days? I know there was some kind of thing with the mining guild in PvP worlds where you used to be able to do it. I thought they patched that out, 1-tick mining, though. Unless there's another location where you could do it, which there probably is. But you get less, doesn't mining guild have an increased EXP rate, though? Because they ended up overall nerfing it. Because I believe they removed 1-tick mining from mining guild. It was originally the, one of the better methods. So I think you could still 1-tick granite? Or isn't there like a 1.5-tick granite or something? I never really messed around with granite in old school RuneScape. Or even in RuneScape in general. I never really cared for it. That method personally. Oh, Pestle and Mortar, isn't that 2-tick though? Doing it with Pestle and Mortar? Pretty sure it's 2-tick, not 1-tick. So I've never personally used the method because I hate using anything that ever uses that. I think the only thing I've ever used Pestle and Mortar for in RuneScape, old school RuneScape, is hunting, because it substantially increases the rate of hunting. And really, if you're ever doing hunting, it's never AFK. Unless they added an AFK method. Oh yeah, it's 2-tick. Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say, because 1-tick I believe you can only do if you have multiple people attacking you in a multi-zone, which doesn't work with granite just because they're separated away from each other, and they don't have a quick enough respawn rate. It works with iron ore, though. Well, that's why they removed it from the mining guild, because the orbs, or the things spawn quicker there. It was like really exploitable for XP. I think it was even quicker than granite back when it existed. 1-tick mining at mining guild, but then they nerfed it. I believe the nerf they did is just took away multi-combat there. So the best you could do is 2-tick. Is it just you, or is your screen cut off slightly at the bottom? Nope, that is not just you. It is slightly cut off at the bottom. Why is that? Did I accidentally redo it into the wrong properties? Or did I accidentally drag it? 1 second. Go see. You are correct. It is actually slightly cut off at the bottom. Oh! No wonder why. I just clicked 800 instead of 720 when I tried fixing it earlier. Whoops! The most recent time I just tried fixing it instead of fixing the 1 pixel. Well, it fixed the 1 pixel, but I also undid it, so I made it go 60 pixels off, or 80 pixels, or no, 80 pixels off on that one side. Whoops. My bad, you're right. Wow, that's been like that for like 5 minutes now. Whoops. Mistakes were made. I clicked the wrong graphical thing when I tried fixing it earlier. At this point, I might as well just keep going to the corner and then go to the top right. I'll take that over for now. The latest drama in RuneScape is all these clients like OS Buddy. Those have always been big drama. I've personally been against third-party clients, though I did, before I ended up finally leaving RuneScape the most recent time, did try some third-party clients, and they are really, 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 really convenient. Like, absurdly convenient compared to the normal gameplay of the game. The biggest issue with third-party clients is you're basically cheating. Is the whole big issue with them, and my biggest issue I've always had against them. But for when I was most recently building up a main, it definitely made things a lot easier. But yeah, third-party clients are super, super easy. Like, they make the game absurdly easier compared to playing the base clients. While it would be controversial, I feel like they should ban all third-party clients and just make their own client better. The biggest issue is they seem to be so slow at making their own client better. It's been an issue for years. Even before I ended up getting into old school RuneScape, it was an issue. And now apparently it's still an issue. Like its entire life cycle it has been an issue that they have never fixed. What's with these imps in the game? And are they worth getting? No. Imps in Gems of War are pointless. All 60 imps. They're seasonal imps that run every 2 months. They run in order of Spooky Imp from October to November. Winter Imp in December and January. Imp of Love in February and March. Imp of... Spring Imp in April and May. Summer Imp in June and July. And Autumn Imp in the most recent 2 months we just had of August and September. And they're currently not associated to any kingdoms, so they're pretty bad, and they're bad troops in general, so they're pretty bad. They currently serve almost no purpose within the game. However, that might change into the future. As it currently stands, they are relatively useless, and just for completionist purposes for the most part. However, they have been making their changeover during the first mythic of every month. That makes it a little bit easier to obtain them, since you're most likely throwing a lot of keys at the first mythic of every month. Or they don't change it the first mythic of every month, they change it the first mythic of every other month, since they happen every 2 months. But, I don't know, they're relatively useless troops. Like, if you don't get the Spooky Imp in these 2 months, it's not really that big a deal at all, at least in the current state of the game. That might have changed in the next several months, but as it currently stands, they're pretty useless. Hello, Mobarashi! Welcome! And they ended up doing a buff to them, too, last December, if I'm not mistaken. And even after that buff, they're still useless. How did you get so many gems? And do I have a video for it? Most of my gems are from Tribute. And that wouldn't really be much of a video, because all you have to do is just take Tribute every hour. Or, you know, not literally every hour, but, you know, as much as you possibly can. I didn't mention that in the previous stream, but we get probably around 500 to 1,000 gems per week off of just Tribute. And that makes up a good majority of our gems every single week. Or like the entirety of my stack. Like 75% of it is pretty much from Tribute. Maybe even more than 75%. But a good majority of it's from Tribute. And I was also mentioning getting Kingdoms to power level 9 gets them most of their value. Not all of their value, but a good majority of their value is achieved by power level 9. For every single kingdom. Yeah, most of the imps are pretty bad. I believe Winter Imp and Spring Imp are the best. Spooky Imp, if you want to transform, I guess is okay. Relatively useless though due to its inconsistency. So if you're looking to infinitely farm gems, the most viable method you have is spam treasure hunt. Treasure hunt can vary, but it's around 50 to 80 gems per hour. 50 if you just do them as quickly as possible, and 70 to 80 if you do them as quickly as possible, but also spend all the gold on gold keys and all the glory on glory keys. Because both of those have chances to drop more gems. Is it viable to run Farts Guardian instead of Leprechaun? Why would you want to? You get less gold, you get less mana, and it doesn't half mana start them. I'm not sure what the point of using Farts Guardian would be in this team. Unless you're using it to like half start your hero, like Warden or something. Still don't think that would be worth it though, compared to just using a half mana start hero. I'm just using Oracle right now just because we need EXP. There's no strategic reason to it, just EXP. Yeah, if you want half mana start on hero, just switch it to Titan. Or any hero class that has half mana start that you haven't maxed yet. Because there's probably still plenty that you might have not gotten around to yet. And quite a few of them get it around level 40. a free half mana start. Quite a few hero classes if you don't already have it. What kingdom has +2 red, +1 brown, -1 purple? Beneath Sinner Mirage, also. Well, it's Meteor Banner. Wasn't it Mirage as well? Or was it one of the Underworlds? I know it's called Meteor Banner. I forget what kingdom's associated to, though. I normally don't pay much attention these days which one goes to which for some of the more newer ones. I just know what they are. Oops, I forgot to scout a room. Is that 1.5? No, it is not. Okay, so we'll do this one then. I was actually gonna guess Sinner Mirage. Was that not the Meteor Banner? It must have been one of the Underworld places or something. Can't recall where Meteor Banner is. Will I be getting a crew cut again? I'm not sure what I'll be doing. It's all coming off probably, definitely within the next week. What day specifically really depends on what day I have the most time. Probably Sunday, I would say. Did I read that wrong? I feel like I read a lot of the messages that you type wrong, Supplement. I even read your name wrong. Have you looked at these new Delve troops? Anything interesting or useful? Which ones? The next Delve or this most recent Delve? This most recent Delve? Not really. None of it's going to be PvP viable. The mana drainer isn't much. Oh, there actually is one troop that's relevant. The Fairy Fire option is pretty good for early game PvP, or just in general, because it's the cheapest good Fairy Fire option in the entire game. 75% mana start, so you can 2-turn Fairy Fire. First turn you take the mana, second turn you throw the ability. So it is a really, really quick Fairy Fire. The quickest in the game for early game. Actually, just the quickest in general, other than Queen of Tanya extra turn. Do 4 times Fairy Fire. So it's a really great cheap option for people that currently don't own Queen of Tanya or something similar, like Glitter Claw. Other than that, there isn't really anything too viable from this faction. The Legend's too inconsistent. The mana drainers, just like any of the other mana drainers, not really anything too special. Like Nyx and the other ones. The Florian and all that. Another version of them, and they're not really that good after they got nerfed a little bit. And the other guy's just a useless tank. He's good in the context of the Delve, but outside the Delve, he's not really going to be useful for anything. Yeah, the most viable one into the future, or at least for early game and mid game, is going to be the Fairy Fire one. But everything else is going to be go unused. I guess the Legend could have some potential, but I don't really see any context where it'd be viable enough to bother with it. Seems like only the Fairy Fire option will be good. Final Fantasy VII, I've still never gotten into any of the Final Fantasies, so I'm not sure. I've not played a single one yet. The next games I'm probably going to be streaming are the next Pokemon, Warcraft 3 Reforged, the next Darkest Dungeon, Darkest Dungeon 2, and more Puzzle Quest, of course, which we'll be doing soon. But other than that, that's a good majority of the next several games we'll be streaming. Unless there's something else I might be forgetting that might make a appearance out of nowhere. Like Nintendo just randomly dropping something before Christmas, which is still possible. There's still a possibility they drop like an amazing game right before Christmas. Because what's their big Christmas title at this point? Like the one that's specifically coming in December. There's originally going to be Animal Crossing, but now it's not. because it got delayed. Like, they have Pokemon coming before it. But that's more so to sell their Switch Lite than to sell, you know, more consoles. Well, it's to sell consoles, but, you know, it's not like the actual Christmas season yet. I don't think they have a big December release, do they? Like, normally they have a really big game right at the beginning of December. I believe a few years ago was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The most recent year was Smash. I don't think they have one this year. Yet. Until they announce it, probably next month. Unless I'm forgetting something that's happening then. I don't recall a big launch coming in, though. Well, I guess Pokemon's coming in, like, what, midway through November, so I guess that's technically their December release. Just because it's happening so late in November. And Pokemon's Pokemon. Yeah, it's gonna be so hard to ever try playing all of the Final Fantasies on one single console. If I'm not mistaken, I'm still pretty sure there is no console in existence, unless it's hacked, that has every single Final Fantasy on it. To my knowledge, there is currently none. Have I heard the Pokemon scandals? Yes, I've heard a billion things about it. I'm still playing it. Haven't played Pokemon for like a decade. I'm gonna play it. Bet there's 1.5 billion scandals for that game. Still playing it though. But yeah, the next Pokemon game probably has like the worst PR of any Pokemon game in the history of the series ever. Literally, their mobile title had better PR than this thing. And I'm not talking about Pokemon Go, I'm talking about Pokemon Masters. Got even less attention than Pokemon Go. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Sword and Shield turns out for Pokemon. It's also weird that they stopped using like colors and elements and now they're moving to Sword and Shield. It seems like something weird to name it, given what they've named all the other Pokemons. Main series games. I'm still hoping we get a multiplayer like Mario Party like game though. Either Dokapon Kingdom remake or an actual good Mario Party. Because the most recent one was pretty lackluster. I'm not sure if it's getting DLC. It better get DLC this year. It's been out for a year as of midway through this month. And it has not gotten a single update the entire time. But I got one update for bug fix, but that's it. In the history of it being out for an entire year. No DLC, no update, no nothing. Hey, L63. Progress. Yeah, let's go do one more delve for now. And then we probably rush through the rest, because that's 190 plus at that point. Yeah, I believe the two most controversial things in the most recent Pokemon are no national dex, which I do mind because some of my favorite Pokemon won't be in it. Though I somewhat understand the reasoning. because they are starting to get to a point where they're having literal like hundreds upon hundreds of units, and given that all of them have animations and stuff like that, it probably is a lot of work to constantly keep doing that if that becomes a standard. Like once they get close to 1,000, are they really going to keep animating 1,000 things every single time they make a new game? Though the other controversy is one of the reasons why they did less is so that they can animate them better and stuff like that. But a lot of the animations are just copy pasted from previous games, particularly the DS versions over to just the Switch, like the exact same everything for the animations. Those are probably in combination the two biggest ones. The way that they did the animations and the way that they kind of lied about it, as well as the lack of national Pokédex, which basically just means that all the Pokemon aren't in it, just a part of the collection of the 800 something or 700 something, however many they're up to now. Kind of funny, Gems of War almost has more troops than Pokemon. I forgot how many Pokemon there are, especially after Galar region, since they haven't actually announced them all yet. But Gems of War is creeping up there. Obviously, they don't have to animate them all, but they just have a single icon. But they're getting pretty close in numbers. That will be a funny day when Gems of War passes Pokemon in number of troops or number of units. What is the total on that? I know they're pretty close. If you count weapons, I think Gems of War is technically past it already. But most people don't count weapons. Let's see. Google number of Pokemon. So they're about to add like at least 100 for Galar region. But currently, not counting the update in a month from now with the next Pokemon, there are 807, and it's probably moving to around 900 next gen in about a month from now. And Gems of War has 700 something. It has 737. However, if you count weapons, there is 900 something. If you count weapons. So technically, if you count weapons, Gems of War already has more. But if you count just troops, it is currently 70 behind. So it's about to be 170 behind really soon. And I think that's it. Just take that and then throw into anything. Actually, we don't even need to follow up. So we'll just take it. Yeah, we'll go for it. And then 2 turns will have full mana. So we'll just wait a turn. Actually, I should have mountain there. We got an Nexus into the other guy, but it's fine. Do that. Get our explosion. Explosion. Does poke us. Grab another destroy. Grab a. I'll take that for now. Get a mountain. Oh yeah, I remember watching the very first episode of Pokemon, where Ash ends up waking up from his bed and then ends up getting Pikachu because they didn't have like any more Charmanders or anything like that. I think what's his name, his rival, well, I forget his name. Gary ended up taking like the last one or something. What was it? It wasn't Charmander. What did he take? Bulbasaur? I'm not even sure. But Professor Oak there. And then he ended up getting shocked at the end of it and saw a Ho-Ho in the sky, even though it wasn't even until next gen that it ended up coming out. But I still remember the first episode. How old was I at the time? 5, 6? Young. Very young. It's been like a decade since I played a Pokemon game. As I mentioned, Pearl and Diamond was the most recent one. And I didn't bother playing Pokemon Go. Nor Pokemon Mastered, which came out last month? A couple months ago? Pretty recently. A Gen 2 remake. I'm not sure which gen I actually like the most. I probably played the first gen the absolute most. But, as far as which one I like the absolute most, I'd probably have to say Diamond and Pearl. I don't know, it's either Ruby and Sapphire or Diamond and Pearl, as far as which gen I personally like the most. Actually, you know what feature I really loved in a Pokemon game that is generally criticized as like one of the worst features ever in a Pokemon game, though I personally loved it, was, I believe it was in Ruby and Pearl, or I mean Ruby, Sapphire and Ruby, was those little beauty contest things, where you basically used your abilities to like, make judges, like you more. It was basically like a dog show. Imagine a dog show, but for Pokemon. That is basically what they added to the game, and I absolutely loved it. It's like probably one of the most criticized thing ever added to Pokemon. But it was probably one of my favorite things that they ever added. They basically added a dog show for Pokemon. Was essentially what it was. I'll throw that down. I don't know, I loved it. It was such an interesting gimmick. And it gave you something to completionist for every single Pokemon if you wanted to. And it could also help you min-max, not just to combat, but you could min-max towards the shows rather than the min-maxing their stats. Because the way that you would min-max for combat is way different than how you would min-max for those beauty contest things, dog shows. Might as well just call them dog shows. Because that's basically what they were, just in Pokemon form. Because it was divided into a talent, a visual, and I believe a second visual. And a talent one, they end up using their abilities, but in a much different way than they do normally. Do I remember Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow? Yes. And Green. I played all of them. Except maybe not Green, but, you know, Red, Blue are similar enough that it doesn't really matter. Actually, did Green ever even get localized on the East? I mean, the West? Because now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever did play the Green version. But I played Blue, Red, and Yellow. With Yellow being the one that was mainly different. Because last I recall, Blue and Red were almost exactly the same. What's my banner right now? I'm set it to a -1 yellow into +2 brown, +1 purple. Let's see. I'll take that one over. Grab that. Get the explosion everywhere. And it should be max. Now we just go with the double truffle loop. And don't even need it. The loop is already dead. There we go. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? As I probably will be wrapping up after this, though. Was that mechanic in Platinum? I don't think I've ever played the Platinum version. There's several versions of Pokemon I've never played. A lot of, like, the remake-y ones I've never played. Like, for example, Soul Silver and stuff like that, I've never played. Like, any of the ones that were specifically a remake of an older one, I don't think I've ever played. Not even, like, the Pikachu thing. Like, when they made the Pikachu and Eevee thing, I never played those or anything like that. I believe every single one that was, like, a remake other than Pokemon Yellow, I think I've never played. If there was ever a sequel to a specific Pokemon that was already done in the past, I've never played their sequel. And that's the case for every Pokemon one. Oh, I never did give out a code then, did I? Let me go hand out a code. My bad. I meant to give that out between the two, and then I never did. Guess we got to end on a Valraven. Oh, we also got a Cedric in there. A nice amount of gold while we progress through. Nice. Claim that at exactly 4 times multiplier. And yeah, let's go ahead and the code before we head out. Definitely got to do that. Can't not do that. Code page is still ready to go. Still open from earlier. Well, it's reloading for whatever reason. Come on, code page. Okay, I believe this was the code I'm looking for. Or are you the code we're looking for? It would help if I click the copy paste function rather than just V. Just typing V is not gonna help. Oh wait, we did get into that code earlier. But this one should be good. 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 There we go. Okay, let's go put this into the thing and we're good to go. Copy paste that. Copy the whole thing. And there you guys go. There's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com. Reach the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Redeem code's right over there. And in chat, copy paste the random numbers and letters. And give same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. It works on every platform except the console versions. Enjoy, everyone. Any other questions? Feel free to leave it. Did you ever trade through a cable wire on Pokemon Red and Blue? Yes. Same as on the Game Boy version with Silver and Gold. But yes, I have traded with a wire before with friends. Like that little weird attachment thing that they had. As well as the other attachment thing that they had for N64. But yes, I have done that before. The technology for that was really, really weird. Because they didn't have like Bluetooth or whatever that is that they like used to communicate through the two devices back then. They had to like use a specific cord hooked up to both of them just to communicate between the two consoles. Which is really funny compared to the technology today. But yeah, I remember using that. I don't have it anymore, obviously. But I do remember using it. I do still have some of the N64 stuff, though. Like that big Rumbler pack, the thing that you would attach to it to make it work with Pokemon Stadium, so that you could play Pokemon Gold and Silver, as well as the yellow ones, I believe? Or, you know, the color ones? I believe those were possible. But yeah, I believe you could play the color ones on Pokemon Stadium 1. And Pokemon Stadium 2, I believe, added the Gold and Silver being playable on it, where you could use that attachment and literally just play it on a TV, which at the time was pretty revolutionary, because you could play a handheld device on your TV, which at the time is like, or at this time is pretty standard now, but it was basically like the first instance they added the Switch to one of their consoles, if I'm not mistaken, where you could basically play it on your handheld, and then also play it on your TV. Like the first time they ever implemented that. It's kind of weird that they haven't implemented it again since until the Switch, if I'm not mistaken. Like specifically being able to play it on either or. I guess the Wii U kind of had some elements like that, but Switch definitely perfected it. What's the best traits stone farming teams? Generally anything that's Leprechaun into Rowan or Firebomb into Sunbird. Those are the two compositions. One of the best ones that don't use quick start, though, is Mountain Crusher, Rowan, Sunbird. And then running that with a Leprechaun and last slot. These generally work out as one of the better ones if you currently do not have enough damage to quickly kill Explore, just because you get a double cast out of it pretty quickly. Otherwise, you just run anything with Sunbird, Rowan, or... I mean, sorry, not Sunbird, Rowan. Rowan, Leprechaun, or Sunbird, Firebomb. Just roll with that. But, yeah, there's a couple different ways you can build it depending on what you're trying to farm. For example, if there's a Glory Troop in a given week, you can place that in there. You can have your hero placed in there so you can free class XP, which I generally advise. And you can also go down the mana generation route where you can use different things like half mana start off a Mirage Queen, half mana start a Forest Guardian, or just simply exploders like Leprechaun, Firebomb, stuff like that. Firebomb is generally a little bit better with Sunbird combo though, because of how the death mechanic works with Sunbird. Whereas Leprechaun can be used for both, but is particularly noteworthy for Rowan version. But anyways, any other question? Also, that is something I'll be going over more next patch, for a reason that will be evident very soon. But any other questions? Otherwise, I guess I'll be out for now. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and best of luck if you're going to be trying for the Mythic. It's a great utility troop to have, however, I don't feel like it's a must-have troop. But it's definitely a great utility, if nothing else. Not something you'd be using a whole lot, but it's a really strong counter when you're up against a pure color team, which is where it really shines. But anyways, we'll be back tomorrow around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or so. We'll just be messing around with more of the stealth and going from there. Might start a little bit later, depending on how things go, but should be able to start at 10. And other than that, yeah, we'll have our normal nightly stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tomorrow, we should hopefully finally have a public spoiler for next patch. That is almost 100% happening tomorrow. Hopefully it's out by tomorrow morning so I can go show it tomorrow morning. Yeah, hopefully that comes out tonight. So keep an eye out for that, as hopefully we get a really juicy spoiler to show. And on Monday, we'll be getting a lot of spoilers, and on Tuesday, I'll be going over those spoilers, and hopefully by that time, we'll even have the patch. We'll have to see. How far are you in the delve? 190, or 200 technically, since we just did 190. So we're about 1/3 the way there. Though we're going to start rushing, so we're almost halfway to the way there if you count it that way. Because the rest of them we're probably just going to start rushing, which means we only have to do like less than half the room. The salty, has she ever wrote to me about multiplayer and puzzle quests? Oh no, I never did ask about that. If it's local only. I believe it's local only, which is probably why it's acting the way it is. Almost 100% it's local only. That or they implement it in a really broken fashion if it's not local only. Because it doesn't seem to function. It either doesn't seem to function or it's local only. So it seems weird that they would have a lobbying system if it is local only. Because why would you have a lobby system if it's local only? Doesn't make much sense. William, did I dodge your question? Warren, City of Thieves, Wild Court. Which one you farm at level 20? City of Thieves. If you add those as choices, City of Thieves is definitely the best way to go. City of Thieves is the best farming delve in the entire game. Not even close. It's City of Thieves, then Silver Necropolis, then Wild Court, then Warrens, in that order and priority. With City of Thieves being the absolute best if you haven't already gotten it past 20. Or even if you still have it at a low level, it might still be worth it just because how good the loot is there. As long as it's still relatively low level. Oh, she's looking into it? Ooh, if Puzzle Quest 1 actually has proper multiplayer, that would be a ton of fun. I know it probably doesn't have a huge player base, but if nothing else, we could play with viewers or something. But yeah, if they have proper multiplayer implemented into Puzzle Quest 1, that would be a lot of fun, if that actually is what it is. I hope they do that. That'll be pretty broken, though, because a lot of builds are super, super broken once you get to late game. Getting to late game, it takes a while. Once you finally get to late game, you get some really, really broken setups. But anyways, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll catch all of you later. Thank you so much for stopping by. Leave a like if you enjoyed the stream. And, yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And goodbye, everyone. We'll be back in about 13 hours from now, Eastern Standard Time. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or so. But good night, everyone. Catch you later.